Hi everybody and welcome back to another episode of Erin's Tea. Today we're going to be talking about cold steeping green tea. There's been a lot of talk lately about iced tea with the warm weather that we've been having, and our first video we did was on brewing it hot and then pouring it over ice. So we've been doing cold brewing for the last video, and I thought I would do green tea today because I'm not a big fan of cold green tea. And I've had some questions on the Facebook page about how much to use and what do you actually do with it, so I thought I'd clarify a little bit more. So today's episode we are doing Gyokuro Imperial Tea from Tivana, and this is a very fragrant vegetal tea. This is what they actually grind up to make matcha tea. So it's very, very, very good for you. And I'm using my Takia system for iced tea. Although you don't have to have one of these systems, I like it because it has the infuser with the lid and it's just easy. But you can use a jar and put the tea leaves in there and then strain it out after you're done steeping it. So what you do is you fill your jug with cold filtered water. You take your infuser and you're going to add, a lot of people recommend 1.5 times the amount of tea that you would regularly use for hot brewing tea. Now, I think you can actually use a little bit less depending on the type of tea that you're using. So for green tea, I would use probably about 6 or 7 teaspoons for something like this, and I used 6.5 teaspoons. So I didn't quite go over the 1.5 amount because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or if it was going to be bitter. Because sometimes I find when you're making iced tea and you're pouring it over water, it can actually be a very bitter tasting iced tea. So we used 6.5 teaspoons in here. I poured the water in, I stuck this in here, and I put it in the fridge overnight for about 8 hours. And this is kind of what it looks like. It's got a hazy lime green look to it. So let's go ahead and pour some. Now, I didn't add any sweetener. It's probably hard to add a sweetener when it's cold. So if you use stevia in the packages, that's probably easy. It mixes very nicely. Or sugar, you're just going to have to mix it quite a few times. So let's go ahead and smell it. So it smells just like it smells when it's brewed hot. It smells very vegetal. That's really good. It's super, super light. I thought it was going to be bitter and very, very heavy tasting, but it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is that when you're cold brewing tea, you're actually gently pulling the flavor out versus pushing it out when you're using hot water. So you're not going to get a lot of the bitter tannins in the tea. And it's still good for you. So if you're looking to do something, you have some time to brew it overnight, put some tea in some cold filtered water, stick it in the fridge, and remember to take it out the next day. And remember, it has a shelf life. It's good for about 3 days in the fridge. Otherwise, bacteria can form, and you don't want bacteria in your tea. So, until next time, that's